Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die, they stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for support if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
This video is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding this matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. If you need to seek a professional attorney, certified public accountant, psychiatrist, consultant, or whoever, please do so at your own leisure. Dorsey Resource is not liable for any misuse of this information. These are simply my views and opinions on the topic. With that being said, I reserve all my rights. Now, let's get started. Greetings, welcome everyone. I know it's been a while since I've done a video dealing with the dinar, why they keep delaying the Iraqi dinar, the prosperity programs, the Vietnamese dong. I intend to provide some insight. I did bring some notes here with me. Some of the same information hasn't changed, and things are progressing down the line as far as dealing with the global currency reset. But here's some of the reasons to kind of provide the newbies out there. Some of you all may know this information already, but they want you to basically be dependent on Social Security and public benefits. There is an elite group of people, I was told privately by a credible source, that does not want poor middle class people to have the opportunity to access this type of wealth because it will empower you, which I think is cruel, because these people, some of them years ago, their relatives got money or became wealthy through humble beginnings before the market got saturated and became very competitive. And then they cornered the market and made it difficult for other people to gain the same type of success because they developed a monopoly over certain industries. So that's why I don't think that that's fair, but this is to kind of provide some insight where they want you to be dependent on the system, on the government, like programs and welfare, and so they can utilize your account privately behind the scenes. But they shut down the third-party money exchangers back in 2013 because the prosperity programs, which or prosperity packages, were supposed to be totally separate from the dinar and the foreign currencies. And the reason it got lumped in case some of you all may be aware, because the dinar was designated as the Kickstarter for the global currency reset, because the concept is that they were supposed to destroy the dollar. It was supposed to die and revalue this group of currencies after the dollar has a crash. So don't think of it as necessarily a crash, but it may go through deflation, where it's not going to be worth as much anymore, as far as your purchasing power. So down the line, they put a plan together. It was long in the making, but the prosperity programs were like investment programs similar to how people make money off of real estate. And I want to say everything is not a scam, because there's people out there that will say, oh, those are scams, why are you part of that stuff? And there was credible evidence to prove that these programs were real. There are sources out there. I mean, you do have scams and stuff that exist, but it's up to every individual person to really determine or do their research and credible assessment whether something is a scam or not. But there were programs, just like people make money off of flipping real estate houses. Even we're dealing with the banking system, different tactics with insurance companies and things to make money or build a residual income where your money can grow for you, kind of like Forex or platform trading, where you develop compound interest. But the reason I heard that these elite people, or these corrupt people known as the Illuminati or the criminal cabal at the top, didn't want the prosperity programs to pay out separately, and they lumped it in with the dinar, which I disagree with. That shouldn't have never been done, and I'll get to that later. The reason they did that was because I heard they didn't want people to double dip, meaning they didn't want you to get a lot of money from the prosperity programs, then be able to buy up a whole bunch of Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong or other things and corner the market or whatever and become super rich like they are and be able to compete on the same level because they're billionaires and trillionaires out there. So, but I think it's very greedy and malicious on their part for the simple fact that I've seen this U.S. economy get worse, and I feel like they could have at least allowed the prosperity programs to pay out. I was part of a private humanitarian program several years ago under a guy by the name of Pastor Tony King, where we had to go through this process where we received like this black card right here. Um, Turning around so you guys can see it's not fake. I don't know what factory this is made out of, but it's kind of like we had to do this paperwork and meet these requirements and stuff. But so I had to delve deeper and connect the pieces, and I spoke with individuals, some that attended, and other people I consulted with privately, that these money exchanges back in 2013, in order to participate in some of these prosperity programs, they went through digital currency accounts similar to Bitcoins. Nowadays, more people are familiar with Bitcoins, but back then you had one digital currency was called e-bullion, and you had another type of digital currency was called C-gold, and they were shut down. Where they had some instances where the guy from e-bullion got into an incident with his wife or whatever, where they went through a bitter divorce, where they owned the digital currency company. So there's similarities in that they played a part in many of the different prosperity programs, because you had to go do a bank wire to a third party source to send the money. Then your digital currency account would accrue, and then you would pull that money and wire it back to your account in the public. It's kind of how it worked, to kind of give you guys an idea. They were real, but also it was hard to regulate because some of these digital currency programs, people would put up websites and stuff that were fake and would take money as well. Just to mention both sides, you have con artists out there, but you have a real side that exists too. And many people were taken advantage of. And then there's some instances where, like I say, there are programs, were high yield investment programs, also known as certain prosperity programs, that were legitimate now. So let's be clear on that. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea. But the elites deliberately shut these money changers down. An excuse was given because the banks need to become Basel III compliant, meaning asset backed, where Chase, for example, said you can no longer do international wire transfers if you had a lower tier account, just like a regular individual account. If it wasn't a business account, you could not do international wires. You could do domestic wires within the country. So they started putting capital, kind of similar to capital measures or capital controls, in place. And this was done on purpose, deliberately, I believe, in my opinion, and from talking with other people, to make our condition worse as poor middle class people. They want us to stay in the condition that we're in, so we cannot become prosperous and free and things. And they kept using this excuse, saying the SEC, securities, which stands for Securities Exchange Commission, it's an acronym, that they were calling people like us money launderers. And I want to say everyone's not a money launderer, so they're lumping everyone into one box. That's not true. These are some tactics I want to make you all aware, kind of like code language these elite people use. When I attended this private event, when some of us hadn't had the opportunity to exchange or even come into this wealth yet, they were trying to tell us that we weren't hadn't demonstrated that we were being good stewards. And I was like, you have to give us an opportunity first. And then they kept calling our investment a blessing, coming up with like these code words instead of calling it for what it is. So it shows that this is a elitism. This is very cruel and mean, because these people were taught by their parents. They received an advantage in society. They were sent to private schools by invitation only. They studied out of encyclopedias. So they had an upper hand. and they were trying to cause us to suffer on purpose. This is really cruel. At the same time, while they said they recruited us, like the pastor Tony King, and he wasn't the only person that had or group that had a private humanitarian program. At least that's the classification they used. But it was actually more than what they were leading people on to, in my opinion. Uh, and another thing, these elite people were doing this because this was a covert way that people were funding their freedom, was they felt like too many people were allowing themselves to become free, because once you access the wealth, you don't have to be stuck like on in a certain type of lifestyle anymore, or a certain type of 9 to 5 job. You can have more options to do things when you have money. And they saw this as a way that people were funding their freedom. So they shut this down, I believe, on purpose. But this was not done fairly. There needs to be checks and balances, because these same elite people who were doing this wicked stuff are the same people that are responsible behind running child sex trafficking rings. These people are responsible for bringing drugs in the country. These people are responsible for running, funding drug cartels or gangs, and all sorts of crimes where they poison our water, our food. Because keep in mind, they have trust accounts where they own major corporations that have been caught, like Monsanto, with poisoning our food supply or genetically altering our crops. And their families, some of them are connected behind the Federal Reserve Bank, which is a central bank that controls all the local banks, and they're shareholders behind the scenes. So they have private banking trust accounts where those assets are going into their accounts. So they're using their wealth for manipulative and corrupt purposes. Also, they're using the prison system, which this is evident that I found out that Corrections Corporation of America and another major corporation that owns prisons across throughout the United States, even around the world, is actually in a fight with the Justice Department, because they've been using unjust this labor to get rich, and they don't pay the prisoners a fair wage for the types of jobs that they do, and they make astronomical amounts of profit that they're able to flip to 500%, 100 to 500% of their profit, because they don't pay their inmates these wages, and they have them make license plates and things in some of the prisons. I've heard stuff like that, but there's actually an ongoing fight privately. You guys can look it up, where they're in a legal battle with the Justice Department. I do see things I agree with that the government is involved with, but I do think that there needs to be better transparency and checks and balances and fairness. So with that being said, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of how they keep delaying the Iraqi dinar, the prosperity programs, and things of that nature. In my opinions, I did give a disclaimer, so it's up to everyone to do their research. If you did take the time to watch the video up until this point, I want to thank you guys. Please don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Dorsey's Resource. Take care.